Just sit down. Want to win. I say I was born to win. Born to win. I say you were born to win. Born to win. I say I was born to win. Yes, indeed, I was born to win. I don't know about you, but for me, I was born to win. You're listening to the Super Money Show right here on the OBC 99.9 and also frequencies across Liberia. We have as guest on this final lap of this program the president of the University of Liberia, the small president Julio Saul Nelson. He's our guest right here on the Super Money Show, and this program is being carried relayed by Lux FM and its major platforms. Mr. President, small president, welcome.
Thank you very much. It is good to be here at BOC today, and a wonderful opportunity for me to be in the studio with you. We've been having this discussion for a long time.
Yeah, sure.
We are happy we are here today, especially so on this day where it is World Teachers Day. I want to congratulate all teachers, faculty, and lecturers in various institutions of higher learning, even teachers in our secondary and primary school, that we want to celebrate all of you in the educational sector as we celebrate World Teachers Day today.
Okay, that's good. Now, Mr. President, President Julius Saul Nelson, yes, I know we'll talk about the breakthrough that you made in the certainly trying to address the dispute between your administration and that of the OFA. But first, you've been around at the university for some time now. Give us an idea, first when you got there, what was the University of Liberia that you inherited?
Well, you need to understand that I joined the university family as an administrator in 2007. After several strike actions, I was recruited from a pool of professional people who were asked to find a way for the Office of Student Affairs to have a professional youth and student worker. And let me pay my respect to the late Dr. James Oliver Duncan, former president of the United Methodist University, who called me to his office around the City Hall to convince me in 2 hours why I should apply to go back to my alma mater to be that one that would then serve in the Office of Student Affairs. Before that time, I was working with the Kofi Annan Institute with Professor Debbie Sandy as the deputy director there, trying to do the Peace Studies program, developing curricula and all of that. And so when Professor Duncan convinced me and I put in the application, there was a research committee headed by Professor D. Ansusoni, then at the time Vice President for Administration, and Professor Hassan Conte, His Excellency, our ambassador to Nigeria, who was then the president of the university. And after that process, I was acting, I went to the Office of Student Affairs November 1, 2007. And since then, I've been at the university. When I got there, things was very difficult. And that's why I was recruited, especially so in the life of the Student Services Administration. And Professor Conte, the team there, encouraged me and I worked closely with them. And there were a lot of crises and struggles at the university. And so it is important for us to realize that I remember when I got there, professor at the university was making the equivalent of $125 US. So it was
that is in 2007.
2007. That's what I met on the ground. And I met a staff of about 9 to 10 persons in the Office of Student Affairs. And so I'm happy that I had that opportunity given to me by the university administration to come and give back to my alma mater after some time working at other places, including the United Methodist University, where I serve as Dean of the Vanguard School of Theology and the College of Theology in the United Methodist University. And so there was a wonderful and golden opportunity for me to serve our country there in the educational sector as the Dean of Students at the University of Liberia.
Okay, now I'm
picking you up from the time you went in as president of the University of Liberia.
Well,
What did you see? What's the University of Liberia that you inherit? What were some of the challenges that you faced?
Well, that was just a few years ago. Let's put it October 2019. And 2020, because of the COVID-19, we lost that year. So you're talking about a transitional period of less than 2 years that have been as president of the University of Liberia. But before that time, you need to also know that I was part of the management team because I spent some time as vice president and dean of students. So it was not a new story to me. It was not a new situation. I spent a lot of time working with the people at the university, faculty, staff, and students.
You understood the challenges.
I was part of the challenges in the whole exercise, especially when you come from the student life. Most often at the university, our largest constituency is the student community. And so I had different opportunity to serve as acting vice president for academic affairs, administration, university relations, and institutional development. So that I had those different backgrounds before coming to the office of the president of the University of Liberia. So
under 2 years now.
Yeah. Well, by October 18, we will be clocking in the second year of this particular opportunity to serve our people. And so I'm grateful that we got there and we had a wonderful team. We did some tweaking of the management team in the cabinet, and I'm so blessed we have all of these wonderful people who are giving themselves to the educational sector. And so I'm blessed to have this team that we work together in consensus building and in trying to ensure that we manage the University of Liberia that is owned by the people of Liberia, and the government of Liberia have asked us as we serve in the educational sector to manage this public university on behalf of our people.
What was the rationale behind the tweaking that you did when you took over as president?
Well, when you spend some time in administration and you come on board, you know certain area you need certain gifts and graces, certain skills and talents to beef up the team so you have the best results. And that's what I'm talking about. For example, I saw Professor Moses Moreau Zina, the one who was dean of the College of Agriculture, a technocrat and a public servant for many, many years, to come and help us in academic affairs because he has spent a lot of time in other universities working and knew the situation of African universities for a lot of them, even though he worked in the U.S. also, to come and join me on the team in the area of academic affairs. I saw Professor Sekou Kone, who was dean of Liberia College, but spent many, many years working with young people to be the one that would help me in the area of student services administration. Vice Professor Wiade Kobabole, who been there for many, many years, who was in administration, to help me in the area of institutional development. That was very tactful in doing that. And then we went to find another wonderful lady who had just come from the ECOWAS Commission of Madame Beneta Jokota to help me in the area of administration to build that kind of team. There were other colleagues in other areas who were still there, but these four were people who were recruited and placed in those positions to beef up the team so that we can achieve the goal of brightening the light at the University of Liberia.
If one could just ask now, the president of the university, Julius Saul Nelson, has been at the helm of the university for 2 years, 2019 up to now. What did you do in the course of 2 years? How much difference have you been able to make, apart from, because I know the reasons why you did it tweaking, because you had a vision, you wanted to achieve certain things. What have you been able to achieve so far?
Well, I'm grateful that the transition or the journey so far have been pleasant, difficult, interesting. That's what life is all about.
I know.
But I share with the university family when I took over a vision that was very clear on brightening the light with curriculum reform, the issue of resource mobilization, the issue of mentorship for students at the university, the whole issue of trying to put emphasis on internet communication technology. Those were 4 key areas that we wanted to make sure to move forward in the life of the university. All across the university, the various departments have gone through the exercise of curriculum reform. There have been new disciplines that have been organized and approved for implementation at the university. The program of statistics, we didn't have that before. We are getting ready with the support of Legis and the World Bank to begin the statistics program. There are different specializations now in the area of chemistry. We are revamp our medical program to move it from a 9-year program to a 7-year program that will be beginning in the new academic year. We have added environmental science, biodiversity, and climate change. We have added public health. We're having discussions with the appropriate institutions so that we will have a public program in nursing and midwifery. We have expanded our ICT program. We are revamped our research institute. So those are happening. But let me also add that we have been able to establish a SEMA business arm of the university that we call Lux Investment Corporation that will be responsible for the mobilization of resources by that particular establishment to help us supplement whatever we will get from the government of Liberia as we move forward, because I knew after spending all of those years that resource mobilization was a major challenge at the university, finding resources to add to what we were receiving from the government of Liberia so that we will implement the works at the university. And so we have done that. It's established. It's the same business. We have a board of trustees of 7 persons on that particular board of the Liberia Lux Investment Corporation. It's a possibility we are working on to establish 4 subsidiaries of that particular investment corporation. Having a water bottling company, having an insurance company, a filling station, and a printing press. 4 major subsidiaries that will be part of Lux Investment to see how best we can mobilize resources to help us augment our budget in light of what we will then receive from the government of Liberia. At least that is up, and we'll have a skeleton team making sure that we do what we need to do so that we can move to the implementation of that particular exercise. So we are happy. I'm thankful, and since you asked the question, that did not happen just by myself. I want to express my gratitude and appreciation to my team, on the cabinet, the faculty, the staff, the administrators, the students of the University of Liberia, because we work together as a family. Even in the family, there are different perspectives, different disagreements, but we are still a family at the University of Liberia, because I know that together we can make it as we move forward.
Surely, I think you've done significantly well in trying to, expand and improve your programs. But how soon do we see this coming online? See a filling station, water, factory, all of that for the University of Liberia. How soon do we see that coming online?
We are in discussion with the government of Liberia, with the National Legislature, the Senate, the House, so that in the midst of all our preparation from 2022 going forward, whether we can find a seed investment we ensure to kick off all of these different subsidiaries. You also need to know that we have a plan of action for the development of our Finder land. There's a Finder land commission at the university trying to find partners that will join us in developing a smart university city in the not too distant future. So those are happening. And if we are able to convince the government and our friends and partners at the National Legislature, we believe that if we get some seed money into that process in 2022, at least we'll work very hard to kick off 2 of those particular businesses, the insurance company and the bottling company. But even the printing press, one of our partner university in China have already donated a large printing machine and a small machine that we will use as a foundation for the university printing press. So those are happening. COVID-19 did not allow us to pay the visit to China to receive the donation, but we are still having those discussions, and we believe that with the movement and in travel situation, very soon in 2022, we believe that we will be able to kick off that one in addition to the 2 I just told you.
When you talk about seed money, Mr. Small President, how much is that looking?
Well, we try to ask for an additional 3 million, 1.5 for the Lux investment, 1.5 for the development of the Finderland Smart City. We need certain basic intellectual property that we need to have in our hands so that we can tell those who are interested to join us in partnership for the development of the university city. So we're talking about a seed fund of about 3 million that will go towards this sustainable investment exercise for the University of Liberia. In addition to that, we still have to operate as a university. So you are asking a specific question on that one, and that is what I'm picking up, what we need as a seed money for those 2 areas of developing the Fender University Smart City and the Lux Investment Corporation with the various subsidiaries.
Okay, I know we'll talk about the breakthrough that you made. It's very important. I see your communication card trying to give me the lady all of that. You say I'm pushing you too much. But let's look at enrollment. Since you took over the university as president, what is it?
No, we've been running between 21,000 students across the board, undergraduate, graduate, and professional schools. Currently, in the registration exercise, we have 17,000 plus who have registered so far at the university. And we believe from our entry exam that we just gave, the first and second entry exams at the university, we are expecting 8,000 students who were successful on the university entry exam. So plus or minus, if we get about 6,000 of that group meeting all the admission requirement, we will be adding another 6,000 to that exercise. But that is the new challenge. The more students we have, the facility and all of that need to be improved. And we need to increase our faculty capacity so that we can meet the demands of what we need to do for teaching and learning to continue in a smooth environment at the University of Liberia.
So as you speak, we have a significant increase in the enrollment.
Oh, yeah. And as we prepare for the next academic year, with the current 17-18 we have, we are looking forward to those that pass the test at 8,000. We believe that about 70 to 80% of those will then meet the requirement for transition into the university. So we're looking forward as we begin the new academic year, talking about 22, 23, 24,000 we are expecting for the new academic year 2021, 2022.
You're listening to the Super Morning Show right here on the OBC 99.9 and also focuses across Liberia. This program is being relayed by Lux FM. We have the president of the University of Liberia, Professor Dr. Julio Saul Nelson, is our guest here, and of course, the program is also carried on all of the major platforms of the university. Now, let's talk about your recent breakthrough, and that culminated, we understand, into the signing off of an MOU between you and those who were opting for. What was the situation first? Give us a flashback. Let's look back at what was the situation for which you had to make a breakthrough, culminating into the MOU.
Well, since June, we've been in discussion with our faculty association, with their leadership led by the Assistant Professor Dr. Edna Johnny and the leadership team, in several resolutions that came from their assembly in June. And so that when they had to set up an advisory body of members from the Alpha leadership and the university cabinet to keep in discussion looking at these issues as to where we go from there. What were the issues? The issue was the environment at the university, having offices for faculty, the sanitation situation, issue of improving facilities at the university. The second issue was the issue of salary increase. Over the past 12 to 15 years, there have not been salary increase at the university. The next issue was there was disparity between faculty colleagues among themselves. And then the next issue was disparity, according to the faculty association, between faculty members and those who are in administration. And those four issues was the one that was brought forward. In those several discussions, the issue of social security, medical insurance were also lifted up by our faculty colleagues. So those were the issues in our discussion. We had different perspectives as to how to resolve those issues. And because we could not agree or build a consensus, I had a meeting on September 15 with the faculty team for about 2 hours, trying to see how best we could find a common ground in our perspective to see how we would deal with the issues. And we invited them to join us to engage the government of Liberia. We told them we could not sign an MOU with them because there are certain issues that are beyond the control of the university. We talk about salary increase. We cannot sign an MOU without discussing with the government of Liberia. And so those issues we lifted up and we told them that we can work together, have the discussion with the government, build up different scenarios. But then when they had the assembly, they thought we didn't have a solution at that particular time on the 17th, and then they decided to disengage. But let me also report that even after that time between 11 and 12 on September 17, between 3 and 4 o'clock, the government at the highest level engaged all of us to start a discussion. Let me say appreciation to the chair lady at the time, Mawina Dix, who was chairing the cabinet while the president was in Ghana, and the Minister of Finance and Development Planning, Samuel Tue. We had a Zoom meeting on that same Friday for about an hour, 30 minutes, trying to find a way how to resolve the issues At that meeting, the government told the leadership of OFA that the government would be willing to find the resources for the renovation of the 4 campuses of the university. The government said we will look at the different information that was provided by OFA and the university administration on the issue of salary disparity and how we could find an equitable, fair process for salaries at the university. But then the government then appealed to the OFA leadership, while we are doing this, is it possible to re-engage? And the OFA leadership wanted time to discuss with their colleagues and then find a way that a technical group should be discussing all of these and find a timeline and blueprint before they could finally re-engage. And that process took us 2 weeks. And that emanated into the MOU signing on Friday, October 1 to move ahead. And it's for this reason, let me on behalf of the UL administration express our gratitude to the visitor of the university, the President of the Republic, who gave a mandate to leaders of the government to work with us to find the appropriate solution, to the Minister of Finance and Development Planning, the CSA Director, the Minister of Education, the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, the Minister of Public Works. All of them were involved directly in that negotiation. But I also want to thank the OFA leadership for our opportunity to dialogue, engage, and find a common ground in the best interest of the faculty, the staff, the students, and the entire university. So, Madam Johnny, thank you all so much for our engagement, and we're happy that we could come together on Friday to sign this MOU, moving the university forward. And in that arrangement, we were to meet certain deadline on the 4th, on the 5th. The OFA leadership will have an assembly on the 6th, and then on the 8th, we are hoping that the classes will be resumed, and then the technical team is still working, so that there are different dates. We have the MOU, but there's an annex of the MOU that detail point by point what time we should achieve all of these different opportunities that we give on in the MOU.
You said we are hoping that the university will be open on the 8th. Does it mean that you are not quite sure, you are not quite upbeat about the reopening of the university?
Well, we are upbeat, but the faculty association need to meet in their assembly. The leadership will take in the MOU that we signed together, brief them and tell them what we have laid out in this timeline, and we hope for their endorsement of what will be presented by the faculty leadership. And in light of that, then we know that by the 8th, classes will resume. But I want to make sure that I gave the leadership the opportunity to meet with the assembly faculty colleagues and share with them what we signed on October 1. And based on that, we're looking forward to how we're going to keep positive in all that we do. But I believe we had a major breakthrough, and all that was asked for by the faculty association with the government support and help, we are all moving in the same direction. So we look forward to classes resuming on Friday, October 8th.
In time past, President Julius Sowell Nelson, in time past, we witnessed crisis sweeping semesters every time the university started with the whole recurring crisis, and every time there's crisis, yes, under your administration, we don't see that happening frequently. It's just about what we saw just quite recently. We had to resort into the signing of the MOU. How are you intending to remain engaged with OFA so that these sort of things don't happen? So you see a disruption in the learning process of our students.
Very good to understand what the context of those crises were. One, we had a crisis with our registration process. We had 20,000 students, but we set up a registration process manually for 1 month. Banks had to come on campus to receive funding, and that 1 month was not enough. Students were given scholarship from all over the place. People will have their rally this time. They will not pay the arrears, but they want to register for the election. So it became a time. So it was said 1 month for registration. We went 3 months for registration. That was a crisis. The issue of salary for our faculty and staff not being paid on time was another crisis that I met at the university. Over the past time, the government of Liberia have ensured that our salary are current. The government of Liberia, especially this government of Liberia, have digitized our registration process. Our students can be anywhere in the world and do their registration. The government of Liberia have instituted a free tuition policy that you don't have to worry about tuition if you're in the undergraduate program. You have to worry about their registration fee. And that has ensured that the university administration will not be running beyond 300 persons who was sponsoring scholarship to get the fees for the particular time. Now we work with the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, and we get our money and do the work that we have to do. So those three areas, registration process, digitize, the tuition-free policy, paying salary on time at the university, were three major issues that we had to deal with at the university. If those are covered, then it will just be a minor issue. You know, the university is the macrocosm of the Liberian society. So there will always be issues that we have to deal with. It can be an issue-free community. And so they will come, but we will find a way, working together, finding the common ground in the best interest of our students, our faculty, and our staff to ensure we have a working environment, because we can do this together at the university.
So as it is now, we expect that and hoping that the university will be reopened on the 8th of this month.
Reopen to start teaching and learning, but the discussions are continuing with the technical committee to make sure the salary harmonization, all of that is in place, to have the discussion as to what the possibilities are for increase for university employees. The issue of the renovation, the government have told us in those discussions they will put funding aside for the renovation process. We went ahead and say you don't have to give us the money. I've had discussion with 4 partners institutions, government agencies that have agreed to work with the University of Liberia in that renovation exercise. The Liberian Agency for Community Empowerment, LACE, the General Services Agency, GSA, the Ministry of Public Works, and the AFL Engineering Battalion had discussion with the Chief of Staff. All of those agencies are willing, ready to work with the university team to ensure our 4 campuses are renovated in a timeline. They will do some work while we are in school. They will do additional work when we're not in school. But we believe in the next 6 to 12 months, there will be a new environment at the University of Liberia. And for this, we are grateful. We want to express our gratitude and appreciation to the government of Liberia and those agencies that have agreed to partner with us, because the university is all of us, we own the university for the people of Liberia. So when these agencies can join us in the shortest possible time to do those renovations, we at the university, we are so grateful and want to express our gratitude to them in advance to ensure that we'll be working together so that we can brighten the light at the university.
With the introduction of the free tuition policy, do you still have scholarship programs at the university?
No. Okay. Even though we are in discussion now with the Ministry of Education, I want to restart the scholarship program for graduate program, and we're having a discussion. But right now, the government of Liberia is the biggest scholarship present by paying the tuition for our undergraduate students. Okay. Those who are in the professional and graduate school, they are different arrangement. I know in the law school, there's an arrangement with the judiciary to sponsor some students, but openly, no, we're not at that point, because we found it difficult in the past to run beyond those scholarship or sponsors to pay what they owe the university. I just told the cabinet yesterday, very soon we'll bring the list of arrears from those scholarship donors in the past before the institutionalization of the free tuition policy at the University of Liberia. And chief among them was the University of Liberia Student Union. They are built, they didn't have funding, but if we tell them, say, give 2,000 scholarship, they will give 5,000 or 6,000 scholarship. And the arrears that they accumulated became a problem. When it was time to pay, they won't pay, then there will be strike action. When it was time to collect the grade sheet, we say pay before you collect your grade sheet, there will be strike action. So those issues gave us another situation at the university, and we believe the tuition free policy with the digitalization of our registration are 2 key events in the life of the universities that have provided room for a smooth running of the University of Liberia. That's the president of the University of Liberia, Dr. Julius Saulo Nelson. Let's take this break and we'll be right back. Just in the gift. We'll be right back. Don't go
Good. I wanted to talk about.
Give me a hand now.
I wanted to talk about the MOU ceremony.
don't see okra and then you swallow bones. You're listening to this Super Money Show right there on the OBC 99.9 and other frequencies across Liberia. We have to take this break. It was quite necessary. We still have in studio the president of the University of Liberia, President Julio Saul Nelson. I know you've established a partnership outside of Liberia as well. Do you care to just give us an idea as to what those partnerships are?
Well, in 2019, our centenary graduation, we were privileged to have His Excellency Julius Madabio, the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, to be our commencement speaker. After that particular program, we had a tete-a-tete with the President. And in those discussions, he encouraged us to say, hey, you guys are right here across the border. Why are you not in partnership with institutional higher learning in Sierra Leone? He challenged us to explore the possibility for that to happen. We were about to start, but then in 2020, we all had to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. And so we continued the discussion with the University of Sierra Leone, exchanged notes, MOU, and then we agreed that on September 7th, we will sign the MOU between the University of Liberia and the University of Sierra Leone. What is the MOU about? Joint faculty research and publication, external examination, sending people from both universities, faculty exchange, student exchange, staff exchange program for development, trying to work together to write for several grants in different institutions, and they will support programs that come from several universities or in different countries to achieve the particular result. And then we decided to go there. But because we were going to the University of Sierra Leone, we thought it was then necessary to pay courtesy calls on other universities that were there, public and private, to explore the possibility to work along with them. So we added to that listing Njala University. We added the Honest Bar Krumah University and the United Methodist University in Sierra Leone as part of that discussion. So from the 2nd of September to the 10th of September, I led a delegation of 27 persons, faculty, staff, students, and administration. We went to Sierra Leone. We got to Njala. Njala said, "This is long overdue. Well, we're not waiting for any long time. Let's sign before you leave from here." And so on the 3rd of September, we signed the MOU with the Njala University. We visited the Honest Bar Krumah University in Makini and Maboraka. They accepted the idea, but they said, well, we would prefer coming to Monrovia to sign our own MOU. On the 6th of September, we met the United Methodist University and expressed the same idea. They agree in principle, but they want to come to Liberia for the signing their own MOU. But on the 7th, it was time for the major exercise with the University of Sierra Leone. And because the president of the country is also the chancellor of the university, he asked the university vice chancellor and principal that the signing ceremony should take place at State House under his supervision. And therefore, the delegation from the University of Sierra Leone, from the University of Liberia, on September 7th, between 12 and 1 o'clock, we signed a MOU establishing this wonderful partnership between the University of Sierra Leone and the University of Liberia. But the president didn't stop there. He told us that there should not be a paper signing ceremony. I will be watching you all. I will be monitoring. And you also work so hard to get to the next steps for the implementation of the particular MOU. And so we celebrate that fact. We want to express once again our gratitude to the government of Sierra Leone, to the Liberian ambassador in Sierra Leone, because she played a lot of facilitative role to achieve that particular goal, and to the various universities, where the vice chancellor, the security network in Sierra Leone, want to express our appreciation to them. Just recently, I was in Nairobi, Kenya. I had a visit with the vice chancellor of the University of Nairobi. The University of Nairobi is in the top 10 of African universities that we had to partner with. And they've been working and building our faculty for many, many years, but we wanted to institutionalize our relationship. And so we are now in the process of exchanging MOU draft. And very soon, in the early 2022, there will be an institutionalized signing MOU between the University of Nairobi and the University of Liberia. So we working in that direction. I need to let you know that beside that one, we just signed another MOU with the Ravi Shaw University in India for 20 of our faculty colleagues in the Thomas Jerry Fairfax College of Science and Technology to do their PhD in various disciplines in the biological sciences. No, they will be here, and the professor will work with them for the next 3 years. That those 20 colleagues online, and then at some time the faculty will come to work with them in that process to get their own doctoral program. Through the College of Education, working with the Ministry of Education and World Bank, we have sent 20 other persons out to do undergraduate and doctoral work in the area of education. There are 40 right there. Besides those 40, there are 40 other faculty colleagues all around the world who are preparing to come back to the university as we develop our faculty and staff profile for the journey ahead in teaching and learning at the university.
What's your relationship with the UC?
UC and ourselves been working for many, many years. But I think in recent time, we've been having discussion with them to see how best they can support us in this Liberia Research Network that we call LREN. You remember during the national oration, I mentioned the whole issue of operationalizing LREN. We are going far into discussion. The UC is now considering a partnership with the University of Liberia, but LREN brings together all the institutions of higher learning. So it's not only for the University of Liberia. This LREN will be like a GSM company that will provide accessible and quality internet services for those in the educational sector, those in research, and for our hospitals and clinics across the board. And they're working so hard that even beside institutional higher learning that involve all these different universities, secondary schools and primary schools will then be incorporated into this exercise once we get to the point to get the support from UC, the government of Liberia, and all of these institutions working together. Internet connectivity for students, faculty, and staff in our various institutions of higher learning will be very, very low. That will make it possible that we can all enjoy internet connectivity in Liberia through that LREN program, and we're looking forward to getting support from the UC regional office in Nairobi, Kenya.
Shortly, I'll open the lines. But what is the plan that you have, you and your team have at the university, to look at the issue of infrastructure development?
Okay. One of the issues raised by our faculty colleagues was the issue of the environment, and we need to let the Liberian people know that the buildings at the university, I was telling you one discussion that on Capitol Hill in particular, all the buildings on Capitol Hill were constructed. I usually put a joke that they were constructed before Tottenham became president. And we have not done renovation in those buildings for a long time. So when people try to describe the buildings at Capitol Hill, they should have that context in mind. You're talking about over 40 years of no major renovation at the university. It was built to accommodate 5,000 to 7,000 students there on Capitol Hill. Now we are 20,000. We are spread on 4 campuses, and then there's been a struggle to have funding that will lead to renovation of those buildings. But we are happy that the government of Liberia, through this discussion, have committed herself to providing the resources for the renovation of Capitol Hill, Findel, the College of Health Science, the medical campus, and even our St. J campus in Grand Cape County to provide the resources. And I was telling you that these other government institutions have agreed to join us and the university team so that the renovation between the next 6 to 12 months to happen on our 4 campuses to give a new look. But we are even looking beyond that. We hope in not too distant future with those different grants, we can work with the government and other partners to develop a smart university city, and so that we can move on a graduate program to the Fender campus and leave the Capitol Hill campus for our graduate and professional school, especially the law school and the graduate program.
Before we open the lines, you've been in the education sector for a very long while, and you've been overseeing as well, not just in the sector, but you've been overseeing the sector. You've been in the supervising as well. You listen to, I hope I don't sound a bit political, but you listen to the former president, former vice president, Joseph Boyka. He indicated a few days ago, according to the media, that the educational sector, which was then a mess, described by the former president, has now been degraded to deplorability, especially the deplorable state. If I were to ask, what your take on the sector, and what do you think about the assertion made by the former vice president?
Well, the first thing is I didn't listen to him. And secondly, life is a process. On that journey, there is a past, there's a present, and there's a future. What we usually do is learn the examples and the experiences of the past so that we can make the present what it ought to be. And it's the present that will give rise to the future. We are not captive of the past.
Okay.
We learn from the past, and therefore, whatever it was in the past, I'm happy and want to express gratitude to this government for the intentional effort in making education a high priority And all of us in the educational sector will continue to work together to ensure whatever it was, we'll take it from there to put it to what it ought to be as to move to the next level in the educational sector. You see today, students that go to do WIEC, their parents don't have to get worried about that. You are hearing from us that the registration process is being digitized. You are hearing that we are doing online education or blended learning education process. When we had Ebola here, we could not be in school for 6 to 9 months because we only thought that you could do teaching and learning only when you have face-to-face. All over the world, online education or blended learning is the option we are going. COVID-19 is here. When we will end, we got no idea. So those of us in the education are finding new ways and means to provide this knowledge sharing for our students to drink from the fountain of those who are in the educational sector. So yeah, hear the past, and since I didn't listen to the statement, I won't try to argue the pros and cons about that. But I'm happy that I'm still a part of the educational sector today through the National Commission on Higher Education, the Ministry of Education, all of us who are in the different institutions of higher learning, both private and public. We have committed ourselves to work together, and on this teachers' celebration day today, let me encourage all of us in the educational sector to not be captive of the past. Okay, let us learn from the past, do what we ought to do in the present so that we can give birth to the future of the educational sector that we want our children to have when we leave the same year in the Republic of Liberia.
That's the president of the Republic. That's the president of the University of Liberia, Professor Dr. Julius Nelson. Shortly, I open the lines. This program is being carried by Luke's FM, and that's the University of Liberia radio station, and also on its YouTube and Facebook platforms. They are carrying this program. Bobby Addison is calling me, but let me take this first caller quickly on the line. 07786215449. Again, 07786215449. That's the number to call, and then you are live on the Super Money Show. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, let's hear from you quickly.
Thank you, Bobby Addison, calling from the capital area. I called to say hi to the instructors across the country. I had a student at the UAN studying public administration. For all the nursing, I'm a senior student. If graduate from Zion, do you have that agreement that is a transfer from Zion to come to the University of Liberia for me to obtain my mass communication degree, since Zion is not offering that course? Do you have that in your plan? So thank you.
Okay, he'll respond to that. He's taking note. Let's take a few callers quickly. 0778621. Good morning. Yes, good morning. Okay, let's hear from you.
And you know the Christian project was very strong for us. So I know what anything you're putting in place to get our for and happening for the next semester.
Okay, he's taking notes to respond to you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Your name and where you calling from? Okay, let's hear from you.
I want to thank the Honorable President for his hard work and dedication to his country and the educational sector. I want to comment on the assertion made by the former Vice President that the educational sector are left from messy to deplorable. I think that's not true. As the President rightly outlined, there are many other international ways of learning being added to our education in Liberia we've never seen before under this president and this regime. The government, I think, is very, very much committed, and they are pumping money into the educational sector by underwriting the cost of the free tuition issue, and our results are improving when it comes to secondary school in the West, right? After we were not reaching those standards under the former Vice President regime. So I want want to just thank the president in studio. But before I leave the line quickly, I just have a question for him. One question, please.
Yes, go ahead quickly.
Mr. President, I really want to know, based on the statement you made that those structures were erected in no time back, is there any way that we can change that by constantly renovating, or what do you think was the cause of us not renovating those structures over the past years?
Okay. He's taking notes. I'm sure you'll respond to that. Good morning. Yes, sir.
My name is Mohammed and I'm joining from Sector Papa of the University of Nigeria.
Go right ahead.
Thank you very much. I listen to our president in the studio every day on the issue of the renovation of the building at the University of Nigeria. The president spoke about every day the president should not depend on the number one of the honor training that was done between the government of Nigeria and that was the University of Nigeria. If you look into the budget, you have 16,300,000 that is allotted for administrative and maintenance of the university. Apart from that, you have 740,000 allotted extra from for the situation policy. And besides, we are paying extra money for as registration fee. And again, every year, about 20,000 students and register for the entrance. All this money that the University of Lagos is generating, I think the university is even more enough to renovate those buildings. So the partner have been in the university from the chairman of the department to that of the dean of the student affairs for 12 years, and after that the university is not prepared. And these are the account that the faculty association takes into the account, and that of the party has been calling for over the time.
Okay. I think you make a point. Let's get to the call on the line quickly. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, good morning.
Let me know where you're calling from.
Thank you. This is the purpose defender of Hilton Nigeria joining from Locator.
Okay.
Someone has called this morning to explore our president, you are president in studio for all you do for the university students, well, especially the state-run university. I think yes, a question about because you understand the rudiments, and then following him, and then the president chose him to be the president of that university, and the recent control of the university students are proven to me that the president has brought his research before his appointment. Thank you, and continue to do the last work and improve our educational sector.
Many thanks. I'd like to get the call on the line. Good morning. Good morning. 07786415549. That's the number to call. 07786415549. You call this number. You are live on the Super Money Show. We'll take about 2 more calls and we'll wrap it up quickly. 07786415549. That's the number to call, and you are live on the Super Money Show. Let me take this caller quickly. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
My name is Ishmael calling from the WAPA Action. I want to say thanks to the Honorable President for the Universal Library for the clarity. But I just got a question for him. I want to know how soon will they the campus from capital to political, because there are students who can difficult to town, there are classes in town, there's sometimes.
Wow, he's off the line. Let's take this final caller to see. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Your name, where you calling from?
Thank you so much. This is Daniel Sori. I'm joining from my DLW resident.
Let's hear from you.
Good morning to your studio guests and good morning to the university. My concern has to do with the president administration. Why will they always say that the issue comes in the public before they come to follow system that have to do with the issue, the lecturer and salary? Why do we say how you will feel if someone pay their way to go to Capitol for 2 weeks without instructor, without lecturer? Why are they not putting the things on a computer? Always let it come to the public.
Okay, you made your point already. Let's take the last call. Good morning. Yes, sir.
Well, this is Joe Case, and I'm calling from Comfort in Supertown. Thank you so much for the session, but I want to know, can you just
Yeah, I'm okay.
That he can take transfers onto his University of Nigeria.
I'm on the air. I'm on the air. I'm on the air. I'm on the air. Good morning. Okay. Yes, go ahead quickly.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that thank you so much for the attention from one platform for telling that people how many universities again like few years that allow the case transfer into the University of Nigeria.
Okay. Okay. Many things. I'm sure you had the last call. Let's go back to our guest to respond. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Let me share with the listening community that transfer to the University of Liberia. In the past, we did it in a way that it was restricted to some institution. Right now, because we are a public institution, if you are a student at a private institution and you are in a particular program, we want you to graduate. Then it will not be the issue of transfer, it will be having admission into a new undergraduate program or a graduate or professional school program. Because if we made the attempt to say free transfer from all the institutions to the university, we will enter all the other private institutions, there will be no student at those institutions higher learning. However, if you have a undergraduate degree at those institutions and you take the aptitude test at the university, you can enter anyone in the graduate program, the professional school, and go from there, or even our law school. There are students from other universities who have gained admission into our graduate and professional school program, and so we don't have a problem with that. But we are working with the National Commission on Higher Education. Very soon there will be a standard across the board for people who can do undergraduate work, and then they will be able to transfer to institutional higher learning. But for now, you need to get the graduate. For example, if you are in the university that don't have engineering, and for some reason your parents moved from Maryland or you're here and the student is interested in engineering, by that case we can review the curriculum there and that student can gain admission. But you're coming from political science or accounting from the university that we know you can graduate and then come for graduate program, we will not encourage that kind of transfer at the university. So having the undergraduate degree, you have easy access to take the aptitude test and get admission to the University of Liberia. Okay. Why are we sitting? No, we're not sitting. Before this issue, I just share with you today that we've been in discussions with the Faculty Association since June. We just disagree how to find a solution. And in that process, we finally came to the point, and I'm happy that we have an understanding now because some of the issues they were lifting all were beyond our control. We are managers of the University of Liberia, and we depend on the government of Liberia to give us resources to do those things we ought to do there at the university. When you talk about renovation of 4 campuses, don't think it is just one building. We're talking about land area of these 4 campuses: Capitol Hill, the College of Health Science campus, Findale, and St. J. And so we're talking about substantive amount of resources to do that work. And so when we discuss, we got different perspectives. There will be disagreement. The thief and the tongue can fight, but they stay in the same place. And that is why we celebrate the MOU that we came together on last Friday. Fender to moving the undergraduate. Yes, we are working to move the undergraduate. We hope that the government plan for the road from EWA to Kokolaga factory will be completed very soon, and it will give all of us a smooth transmission from town to go to Fender. But we intend to move the undergraduate colleges to Fender, that will have a lot of land space. There will be more construction and new buildings, because Capitol Hill is very small. When I was at the university in the 70s, we were less than 7,000 students. Today, Capitol Hill cannot hold us, and that is why we need to move all the undergraduate colleges to Fender. Yes, when you talk about the university budget and talk about we have 16 point something million in the budget, they also know you don't have the information as to the size of the university and how much that go for, or the detailed breakdown. The government of Liberia in our discussion have said that what they are giving the university, that take care of salary, but we don't have money for operation or renovation and all of that or so. And that is why in this discussion, we're putting all the cards on the table, and the government is considering in the new budget, besides salary, what they will do for operation, maintenance, and other issues to move the university forward. So we are not just sitting. All of this renovation you're talking about costs for money. There are some people in the university, men and women in the university, who are still struggling to pay their registration fee. but they want all of these things to happen. So we just want to say, hey, there's a new day here. Let's work together. Do what you got to do. We do what we have to do. The faculty will do their part. The government of Liberia will play its part. And all of us will brighten the light at the University of Liberia. Constant renovation. Well, if we don't have the money, we can't do renovation. And the government understood that in our negotiation. That is why the government is committing herself to take care of the resources for the renovation of the 4 campuses of the University of Liberia. Students who are taking admission, who pass the test, admission will be going on now, and they will complete that process in December. Very soon, the Office of Enrollment Services will send admission letters out to those who were successful. So don't be in a worry. The next academic year will not start in 2021. We are looking at 2022. So take it easy. You will get your letter, and you will come to the University of Liberia. AME Zion graduate. You graduate from AME Zion, you can come to the University of Liberia to do any graduate or professional program once you are successful on the placement test. And you know right now, for those who are doing the graduate and professional school entry exam, you walk into the computer room before you leave the hall, your result is shown. It's now official until we announce it, but we get up and we are preparing in 2022 to do a walk-in entrance exam or aptitude test for those that will be interested or taking the entrance exam at the University of Liberia. So we will do our best. We can't ask for the prayers of the people of Liberia. That is your institution. Every time you pray for us, we will do better. But I want to express once again our gratitude to the government of Liberia, to the faculty association, to the staff, the students, all of us who have the responsibility to work together at the University of Liberia to keep teaching and learning going on, even in the midst of our diversity and disagreement. Let us find a common ground to work together as we all brighten the light at the University of Liberia.
Well, that's the president of the University of Liberia, Dr. Julius Saulo Nelson. Thank you very much. I really relish my time with you. Thank you, Mr. President, for taking time off your busy schedule.
Thank you, Saba. It's good to be here with you. I'm happy to be here busy today for this sharing.
Okay. Well, that's just how I go home on this presentation of this Super Money Show. Join